Good morning, everyone. I took many of your all suggestions and took a break for the weekend. Today is Monday recording this. Went to Wisconsin with a buddy and we went hiking. It was fun. It was nice to not have to worry about any of this for a while. That being said, had a lot of orders come in. Not so many on eBay, but quite a few on Bricklink. Actually, it looks like about the same amount of numbers. So we got a lot of packing to do. Thursday night, I had come out here and I laid all this out because I just wanted to see how it looked, and it looks pretty good. So hopefully, if we get moving today, we can go ahead and get this put together. Should go faster since I've done one already and I'm familiar with how it works. The kid officially started school today. Drop-off didn't go so great. He was not happy about being separated. And of course that made us emotional. So kind of dealing with that in this moment. He did go to daycare before, but he's had a whole month and we've had a whole month of just kind of hanging out together. And you know, we'd work when we could, but we're mostly just all hanging out. So it's a little weird to be like, all right, I'll see you at 4:30, you know? We'll get back in the routine. It's good for everybody. He needs to be around other kids. He needs to have like educational stuff happening, and we need to be working. So, Krennic's shuttle sold. And it went pretty quick too. Let me think for a second. I think it sold on Saturday. It was either Sunday or Saturday, and nothing else had happened that day. So it was nice to like just have one big sale, kind of just cover the day. I stand corrected. It was Friday, no sales on Saturday, and then a bunch of sales on Sunday. This little Ninjago set sold. So long, and thanks for all the fish. Looking for 76117 right here. This is complete, ready to go, and for a good chunk of change too. Over here, more of that Hero Quest stuff going out the door. We need the dice and these orcs. So, very good. And then one more going out. 40562. Of course, it's buried under there. There we go. So that's all on the eBay. Okay, and now on to Bricklink. A good deal of viewer sales on here too. And I set up Stripe payments on Bricklink as well, and I had like 3 orders come in of people not paying through PayPal. So it's a big experiment. We're gonna see how it goes. I know from what I've read, there's more risk of people like scamming you through that, but we'll see how it goes. Scams can happen through PayPal too. So this first order is going out to Reese. It says, hey Travis, I'm always looking for a reason to buy from your store. Every season's the reason. Trying to support what you do. Found a couple for my collection. Thanks. Love the videos. Thank you. And it looks like this is your second time coming through the store. Let's see what you got. You got an Iron Man right there and a purple Catwoman. There you go. Let's see. This one's going out to Thomas. Thomas says, subscriber on YouTube, ended in your store by wanted list for the minifigure parts. Congratulations on the move. So it sounds like you were just shopping, happened to land in my store, and you're like, oh, I watched that guy. So that's awesome. I will for sure throw in some extra parts for you. Thank you. So it looks like those are the parts you were after, and then you just kind of like, oh, and this cape. And then you're just kind of like, let me see what else you got. So, thank you. Next one is not a viewer, but it's a lot. So let's pack those two up first before I pull this one. Okay, here we go. Bunch of Harry Potter stuff. Just loads of it. This came out to like $64 and a Rancor Claw. Something like $64 plus shipping. So wild, wild, wild. Here's the next order, just some parts. Came out to like $11.89, I believe, I want to say. And last two, got this Anakin here with dirt stains on him. Like $18, I'll double check that. And then $5 for all these parts for someone else. Yeah, $19.60 plus shipping, and then $5.57 plus shipping. Crazy. All right, took me about an hour and a half to do all the shipping. Not bad, not bad at all. So I guess it's time to start working on this. I mean, this is already like 90% of the way there. Just need to check it all. So this shouldn't take me terribly long, I wouldn't think. So I'm just gonna put on a couple YouTube videos and see how far I get. All right, I am loving, I forgot how awesome this build was. It is so fun. There's some discoloration there, but I don't think that's gonna be an issue because everything else looks really clean and amazing. I've been at this about 45 minutes, it looks like. And I was reminded, you know, Tanner bought the first one from me, and he messaged me at one point, and he's like, hey, there's something wrong with the instructions. And I'd completely forgotten to mention it. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember I came across that too. It was super weird. It jumps. Step 17, is this the spot? Yeah, page 41. Page number's fine, 42, but jumps from step 17 to step 22. And you just kind of have to figure out how that bottom base plate goes on. So, super weird, but he figured it out and I figured it out again, a second time. By the way, if you were ever a Mythbusters fan, Adam Savage is tested. He just tells really good stories and he offers good advice, and I don't know. I like putting these on in the background. He's just answering questions. They're good watches. Good listens, rather. There we go. Second time through. All the figs are here. Do-do-do-do. We got a box. We got manuals. The only thing missing is the, see if you can see it in the photo, one of these rifles right here. But everything else is here. Wicked cool set. That was fun to do again. Okay, that's a significant chunk right there. Having Krennic gone and that for sale and the B-Wing for sale, we've almost hit our investment value. Let's grab something from the sharp bin, and should probably do some Bricklink stuff. All right, here we go. Figured now's a good time to post this with the movie. People are actually getting like 10 for a used one, so again, that's probably just because of the movie. So we'll get that. It's already built. Looks like, I'll double check it. Got this one here. We'll actually go through and build this one. Awesome. Okay, here we go. Wolverine looking good. Master Wu looking good. And this Ninjago prison, mostly good. These two, we have some cracked torsos, but everyone else is primo. This was a fun build. I love sets that utilize this slide feature. I just think it's super cool. And then there's a couple other play features. This toilet breaks out. This door falls down. Let's see if I can do it without making a mess. There we go. You can launch the bread. Just a lot of cool stuff going on here. Okay, it feels good to have like this momentum building up again. I think August is going to be really, really strong. So I have these sets up here, which I've earmarked for part out. And somebody had an interesting question for me to answer. It was Malcolm. He put in an order and I needed to invoice him. He just hasn't paid yet, so that's why his order is not on this video. Hopefully the next one. But Malcolm's in a bunch of questions for future videos, and one of them was like just about Lego storage, like for Bricklink. And when you compare how much space I'm using specifically for Bricklink versus everything else, and you know, it's weird to be backwards, all that stuff there, like all the non-Lego stuff needing storage space, I don't use a ton of space specifically for Bricklink parts. So to answer your question, each of these main drawers is numbered. We go all the way down to 269. And if you were to open one of these, oh, not a good example. If you pulled up one of these parts in my Bricklink store, or if I did, because you can't see it, it would say it's in drawer 253. So here in your order, that 52, helmets 10, helmet 1K, I have a corridor skew, 180. If I come over to here to 180, there it is, along with these other parts that are just waiting to be sold. Now, as you can tell, there's a lot of like parts mixing going on. Oh, that's pretty organized. A lot of parts mixing going on. That's not too bad. It gets worse up here because this is when, you know, I was first getting started. These were my first drawers. So there's a lot of like intermingling of parts. Now, I'm sure most Lego people, such as us, we would love to have one part, one drawer. And we, at least I did, I don't want to speak for everyone, I set out with the intention of like, not necessarily one part, one drawer, maybe like 3 parts per drawer, because I could put dividers in. And it just quickly becomes obvious like how many parts there are and how much space it can take up if you were to do that. So I do a lot of parts mixing, more than I want to, but I'm hoping now with this space here that I can expand this as I start to do less and less other things, adding Bricklink storage. Most of this, you know, actually a good portion of this is just like Lego sets waiting to get sold now. So that's pretty exciting, but we still obviously have all this other stuff. That as we get out of that kind of thing, we can replace it with more of these drawers. These were from when I first got started. They're not really labeled. I just kind of have a general idea of where things are, but the numbers on the other side, they would extend into a third shelf, and then it would wrap around, and then I'd have even more over here. So a lot of potential growth going on. And then down here, I could use this for Bricklink, but I use this as kind of like my indiscriminate, like rebuilding a set. I can't find a red 1x4, so I just open up this drawer and grab one. If I weren't so adamant about restoring sets to their proper, you know, completeness, then I would absolutely do something like this as well for all your basic parts, just like this. And I'd run Bricklink out of here, which maybe, I don't know, given how much space I have now, maybe I can start doing that too. And these would become more for like odds and ends and things like that. But who knows? You know, 5 years from now, if I'm still doing all this, which I hope I am, it'd be cool if I'm just like actually moving into a storefront or something. But we'll see. We will see. So this one, I got this in a bulk buy. I had found one of these on clearance. It's probably getting close to a year ago now. I actually don't know when this set came out, so that might be incorrect. Don't sue me. And I parted it out. Every part in this is going to have a home either over here, or this was before I bought more drawers and I want to get out of this stuff. I've just labeled these after like my friends of the channel, cartoon characters that I like, things like that. Mardi Gras man, you're right here. So you can see it's just like I parted out essentially a couple of the same set into Mardi Gras man. So I don't recommend this system. This gets messy, having to move the stacks around. You have to dig more than you would in the drawers. So I don't recommend something like this. But in the spirit of yesterday's video about, go check that one out. If it's what you have to get started, do it. Don't let waiting for the right equipment stop you from getting started. Get started, earn some money, buy the equipment you do want, and slowly build it over time. That's my advice. Real quick, I also really like these. They're usually for like sewing kits and things like that, but I've dedicated, this was a snack box apparently, one for heads. This one was my first one, so it's a little more mixed up, but heads on top, torsos in the middle, legs on the bottom. This one's for torsos specifically, like that's helmets. So these are also really good. I don't know what they're called. If you look up like sewing organizer, they'll pop up. I guess more specifically to your question, Malcolm, how do I decide which parts go where? If there's space in the drawer, it holds the part. When you start a part out, like when I start this one, you can say consolidate, and then I'll say, hey, you already have this part in your inventory. Do you want to make it all part of the same thing? And you can be like, yep. And then it'll tell you which drawer it's supposed to go in, and that part gets much easier. It's the initial like, oh, I don't have this part yet. Drawer 245 has space. We'll put it in there. You mark it down. That's all. If there's a better way to do it, please somebody chime in. But that seems to be, if you're operating on this scale, that seems to be the way to go. I would love it to have it all color coordinated and size oriented and all that stuff, but that's just not a reality yet. Maybe one day. Well, that's gonna do it for this one. Oh, and I also have bins that are like dedicated to mini figures, and they're all in these individual little jewelry baggies, and I write on them. Now I write on them because I used to not to, and that was a mess. I'll write on them their part number, like all Star Wars figures start with SW, and then it's like 049 or something like that, and you just write it on there. So when you go digging for it, I've already talked about how what I'm currently doing is kind of messy, but it works if you're operating out of a closet or something. So I have 2 bins dedicated to used figures, and then 1 bin dedicated to brand new figures that have never been assembled. And that's because I tend to deal more in used stuff than brand new stuff. That's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for the question, Malcolm. I'm just gonna take all the questions you asked and just like make them the subjects of upcoming videos, because why not? And then of course I'm also happy to answer you via message if you would prefer that. But you have inspired a few videos coming up. I'll catch y'all next time. Happy building, happy hunting. Hope you all are enjoying your summer. See you soon.